You know, the idea of the book seasons actually came to me as I met one of my mentors. His name is Gerald. He's a very successful businessman. At the time, he was actually leading one of the top banks, and he was a CEO. And I can't remember what we were talking about that day. But in the process, he actually mentioned to me that he plans his life in 10-year installments. And at that point, he was actually CEO, but he was planning to retire. And he was in his 30s. He was planning to retire as a CEO and actually go into being on the board and mentoring the CEO who would come after him in the next few years. And I remember thinking, who thinks like that, you know? So I was so intrigued by this thought. I began to think about it, I reflected about it. I was on a personal retreat a little while later, and I can't even explain it. I mean, I was taking a walk, and as I was walking, it just like I got a real clear picture of what my life would look like in the next 10 years, and the next 10 years after that, and the next 10 years after that. And I remember I was so excited, I actually came back to my room, I wrote down every one of those stages. And it was even funny because they even rhymed at the point. So I was like, wow, I really feel it was like a divine encounter. This was in my 20s. And ever since that time, I've sought to live my life according to those stages. I went to my wife, who's a psychologist. Her name's Carol, she's a psychologist. And I showed her about the stages. And she actually helped me to see the work of a psychologist named Erik Erikson, who talks about psychological stages of development. And to my surprise, there was a lot of parallels and overlaps in some of the things I was already thinking. In the process of my studies, I also came across one of my professors at Fuller Seminary, the graduate school I went to, and he teaches about the stages of leadership as well. So in a sense, all this stuff really began to coalesce for me as I thought through the stages of what a leader's life would look like. And because I've applied my life, I really believe that it's one of the reasons why I've been able to achieve success, significant success, both in my career, but also in my family life, financially, emotionally, I feel like because success is not just about money. It really is a holistic thing. You actually need to be growing in every sector of your life. So in writing this book, my hope is to share what I've learned with leaders, younger leaders, older leaders. I think it's going to be a book that helps anybody reflect on the stage they're in, but also help them prepare for the stages ahead. And my hope is that every single person who reads Seasons will come out of it with just some clarity about what their life stage needs to be going forward.